Hello guys and welcome back to Glory Hunter, where we are returning with RC Lens as we are getting towards the end of our first season here in France. And as you can see, we've got quite a bit of work to do if we're to catch PSG, which is looking ever more so unlikely. That does mean that although we won't be giving up on the league campaign, we are going to turn our primary focus to the Conference League to see if we can win this and ensure that we don't go trophyless for the first season throughout this save. Before we get to that first leg of the quarter-final against Basel, though, we have got our game in hand here against PSG, where a win will see us close the gap once again to 11 points. So let's jump into it, make sure we get the win and keep the pressure on PSG. We will push them all the way to the end. So guys, as I mentioned in our intro, we are switching our focus, I would say, to the UEFA Europa Conference League, as it is the only chance that we really have of silverware this season. Of course, we could in theory still win the Liga and title for now. How much longer that dream will be alive for, I am not too sure, as our title hopes are dwindling. But for now, we will, as I mentioned, keep pushing PSG all the way to the end to see if we can pull off a miraculous recovery and end up winning the league title. Of course, we got dumped out of the French Cup as well, so no chance of winning that. So we will most likely be at Lens no matter what next season. And right on cue, Lois Openda opens the scoring. We do still have, despite this probably becoming a secondary focus, there are still a few individual accolades that we are going for. So Galini, I think, has an outside shot at winning the Golden Glove. And also Lois Openda, we'd love to get him the Golden Boot in his first year back at the club. So still a few things to work on. Openda opening the scoring here is lovely to see. But we will probably try and rattle through these games pretty quickly and get to the Conference League. And I think for me, already looking ahead to next season, we definitely need to work on increasing the size of the squad. We've got quite a small squad at the moment. We will have a few players coming back from loan spells and a few players, of course, joining us on pre-contracts as well. But I definitely want to, in the summer window, that's a good strike by Onana. In the summer window, we definitely need to work on increasing the squad size going into next year, as we're going to be competing on all three fronts once again. Kaiser, that's a great tackle. And now Openda's been slipped through. Lois Openda, oh, it's brilliant. And that's why he is the top scorer in Liga in this season. Kaiser, by the way, Patrick Kaiser, what a run he is getting in the team. He has been fantastic since we signed him in January, nicking the ball high up the pitch, couple of passes through to Openda, gets it onto his right foot and slams it home for, I think, his 22nd goal of the season now, still leading Kylian Mbappe in the race for the Golden Boot. Oh, Openda looking for an assist this time. It's brilliant. Oh, what a goal from Costa. Game over before the half-time whistle even reaches us. It's a brilliant little dink. Openda with the assist this time. Puts it on a plate for Costa. And another of our January signings. That's a beautiful little dink over the keeper. 3-0 as we head into the break. Costa down the right, looking to come infield. Has Costa on the break, and Buick slams home for 4. So confusing having two Costas in the team. Costa to Costa, off the upright, and Buick, who's just about to come off, scores with his last touch. This has been very convincing from RC Lens. We're playing with no pressure at the moment. We know we're not the favourites to win the league. We're probably going to come out second best, so it means we're playing with no pressure. 4-0 and a very convincing display. And there's the full-time whistle. A very comprehensive victory for RC Lens. We cut the gap to PSG from that game in hand back to 11 points with 8 games left to play in the season. Now we can turn our attention back to the Conference League quarter-finals, as we look to take a first step to the semi with a big first leg victory over FC Basel. So it is time for this first leg against Basel. We are at home, so I'm looking to take a strong aggregate lead to Switzerland, looking to get us sort of 2 or 3 goals to the good in this home leg where we have that home advantage. And I was just selecting the team for today. This episode has been a lot of me just talking about our plans for the end of the season and going into next year, but I was just looking at the squad as Oku gives the ball away. There's a lot of players who are kind of under close observation at the moment. I'm going to be fair, I'm going to give these guys quite a bit of game time between now and the end of the season, and they're basically playing for their futures. And it's kind of weird because in a lot of the summer windows, especially if it's been like our first window at one of our clubs, we've kind of come in, we've shifted players on that we're not really that fussed about using. But here at Lons, we've actually, because we didn't have a huge budget, yeah, we made some moves in the window this year. But a lot of the players have kind of stayed the same, or we've bought them in and we've had a year to use them. And now when it comes to next summer, having been able to judge them ourselves, we're going to be in a position where we can make a judgment call on whether they're going to continue at the club next year. So it's a little bit different to when we've come into a club having not used a player and just decided that we don't want to use them, we want to sell them on. So there are going to be a lot of decisions to be made in the summer, and that kind of depends on our recruitment as well and who we can bring into the club as to who will potentially leave. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, I think, going into the new season. Here's Dan James, could be a chance here. Man at the back stick, it's a brilliant save by the Basel keeper. Been quite a slow game so far. That's the first real chance. We still remain at 0-0. Not seen anything of Mr. Thursday Night, Taiwo Awonyi, but he has sent Dan James away down the right here. Dan James into the area. Forces the save out of the keeper this time. Oku's been beaten. Shot comes in. And Gomis is forced into his first save of the game. Nadia Mamiri, a former player of ours, swings it in and it's cleared away, and that will do it for the first half. We remain goalless and it's not been particularly convincing from us. Need a much bigger second half. Clerk, and now into Costa, another man playing for his future. Could be an opportunity here. I see James coming in at the back post. It's a difficult chance. And he does well to guide the header towards that top corner. Pushed away by the keeper. Corner swung into the middle. Taiwo heads against the woodwork. Kovacevic on the rebound. Saved by Pavlovsky again. David does well to intercept high up the pitch. Gets a little bit lucky. Dinks it into James. Chests it down. And probably should have done better with the finish. It's a brilliant save from the keeper, Pavlovsky, as we look to the bench to change this game. Corners come in, and Oku's header, and I'm not sure how we've not seen a goal in this game. We've been better in the second half. Gomis has made a few good saves down the other end as well, but how neither side has scored beats me. Fernandez caught a little bit high up the field here, having to work back. And good build-up from Basel. If they can find a goal here, oh, what a goal! That is outrageous. Tell me that's not Nadia Mamiri. It is. Our former player at Bayer Leverkusen. We sold him to PSG to bring in Renato Sanchez. And he has just scored probably the best goal I've conceded in this whole save. Volley into the top corner. Gomis couldn't get there. Eat your heart out, Zlatan. That is outrageous from Amiri. And we go a goal down with 10 to play. And we're in serious trouble of being a goal down heading to Switzerland for the second leg. This is not what I wanted heading into this quarter-final tie. Buick just trying to keep the ball moving and look for an opportunity. Alvarez. Taiwo into Onana. Brilliant build-up, and we found our equaliser. That could be a huge goal. Jean Onana, patient build-up. And it's the captain who finishes it off. Taiwo draws the two defenders in. It's a cracking strike from Onana into the roof of the net. Great angle from behind the ball there. Keeper no chance. And we level it up with the last kick of this first leg in France. 1-1 it will be, heading to Switzerland. Cracking first leg of the quarter-final. Alright then guys, we've actually got a massive game here sandwiched in between the two Basel legs of the quarter-final. We take on Nice. Now obviously, as I've mentioned many times, don't want to sound like a broken record, but we are prioritising the Conference League, so if we were to suffer a defeat here, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I do want to try and keep our chances alive for as long as we possibly can, so a win here would be lovely as Costa races away. Looks to dink one into Openda. It's good defending, but yeah, tough game against Nice. Currently sat in 6th and playing for European places themselves. So definitely not going to be an easy feat with the amount of games that we have in a short period. All over the top here. Trouble. Oh, what a strike. What a strike. And OGC Nice take the lead. We've seen a couple of brilliant goals against us today. Nadia Mamiri in that previous one. And the opener here, I'm not even sure who it is who's finished it. Is it Illy or something? It's a brilliant ball over the top. Thought David might get back, but hits it first time. That's a cracker. This is the trouble with having such a small squad and trying to compete on 3 different fronts. As we know, we got knocked out of the Coupe de France in a pretty poor fashion, in my opinion. The league is looking pretty much done and dusted, and we've got a lot of work to do in the Conference League too to get past a very strong Basel side. So lots of work to be done between now and the end of the season. And there's the whistle. We trail at the break. If we are to keep our title chances alive, we need to turn this around. Although PSG are trailing to Marseille themselves, but we need to win. It's as simple as that. We need a win, need to turn this around in the second half. Nice just seem to be carving us open here. Richarlison hits one from range and Galini is forced into the save. Looking to distribute it quickly, but not a lot on. We've really not got going, but I see Buick making a really good run in behind the fullback here. Buick's in. Big moment this. Buick forces the save out of Lafont, but couldn't finish the chance off. Costa swings in the corner. Kovacevic does well, flies into the tackle. And now Costa around the corner. Has Openda in support but couldn't find him. We've not been clinical enough today. Cunningham does really well there. Ball's on to Onana and David storming down the right hand side. Big opportunity this. Pulled back to Onana. And the shot was charged down really well. We are sustaining our attacks here, but we've not really been able to create a huge amount. Brilliant ball through to Openda. Holds it up for Costa. Big moment this, and it's straight at Lafont again. This has been such a frustrating game. We've had chances, and we've just not finished them. Nice coming forward, looking for a second. It's a good foot in. And we have got bodies forward here. We've not been able to get our subs on because the ball has not gone out of play. Here's Onana striding forward. Scored that late goal against Basel. Now it's Openda. Gets it into Costa down the right hand side. Back to Openda now. And Costa levels it up. We've scored late once again. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Last kick of the game. RC Lens level it up for the 2nd consecutive match. It is a 1-1 draw again, but as I say, not good enough from RC Lens. The fans are celebrating, but for me, I'm not happy with that one. I think on the chances we had, we really should have won it. Didn't finish our dinner. Yes, we didn't lose, it's a positive, but I think with the gap as it is to PSG, especially if they've won, it's all but title over now. Well, as we head into this second leg in Switzerland, before we get to that, PSG did actually lose to Marseille, so that does cut the gap to 10 with 7 to play. Annoyingly, we didn't win, but you can see Nice having a good season, fighting for the European places in 5th. Does cut the gap to 10, and again, it's definitely not over yet. I want to just quickly have a look if PSG are still in Europe. They've actually just been knocked out by RB Leipzig in the Champions League, so that means that they will be focusing back on the league once again. You can see Chelsea against Leverkusen. Leverkusen getting their revenge after our Chelsea team beat them in the Champions League final last year. Forest nearly knocking out Barcelona as well. And Real Madrid getting past Juve. Draw for the semi-final will be coming up soon. So PSG out of Europe, main focus on the league. For us, into the quarter-final second leg, we need a victory to make it through to the semis. Bring it on. We're heading to Switzerland to take on Basel. Well, here we are in Basel. It's a big night for us here because we had a similar situation in the Coupe de France where we ended up being knocked out and it ended in disappointment. This is the last competition I really feel that we can win, as love the Conference League little music. The theme is class. Doesn't quite give you chills like the Champions League, but still class. But anyway, as I was saying, we obviously got knocked out by Lille. Yeah, it was Lille in the Coupe de France, and that obviously ended our hopes of that trophy. If we have a similar thing here, it'll be a real disappointment, as I don't want to end this season trophyless. It would be the first time in the save we finished a single season without a trophy. So big night here, looking for more from Taiwo Awoniyi, who was quiet in the first leg, but this Basel team is pretty star-studded. They've got a really good team and a lot of European experience as well. So this is going to be a really tough test here away in Switzerland. But here's Dan James, ball into the middle, and Clerc straight away opens the scoring. It's a great start for RC Lens. James using that pace down the right-hand side. This time picks out a teammate, and Leon Clerc couldn't really miss. It's the perfect start here. His first goal in Europe. But RC Lens take the lead inside 10 minutes. And take the first step to the Conference League semi-finals. Get in, boys. Massive opening goal. But here comes Frank Onyeka bursting through the middle of our team. And it's won back and sent to Buick down the left, looking to get forward. It's been a really good start from us here. Buick's away from his man. Still Buick. Bends it home for 2. 1 foot potentially in the semi-finals. What an opening quarter of an hour for RC Lens. This is exactly what I wanted from the boys. Buick just had too much pace down that left-hand side. He's been really impressive this year. Got on with him much better than I have with Costa. Buick extends our lead on aggregate to 3-1 now. And as I mentioned, we now have 1 foot, I would say, in the semi-finals. Corner for Basel, who need a way back into this. Swung into the near and cleared by Fernandez. Taiwo holds it up brilliantly. Knocks his second man off the ball as well. And Taiwo been quiet over the 2 legs. Taiwo sees the keeper coming. It's a brilliant save. Kept alive. Taiwo taps it in for 3. And that will do it. What a first half performance from Lens. The build-up from Taiwo was magnificent. Held off 2 men. Couldn't quite finish it off at the first time of asking. But in typical poacher fashion, is on hand to tap home when the ball falls back to him. Basel have been really poor tonight. They were brilliant in that first leg. Away from home as well. And Taiwo's in again. Taiwo Awoniyi, brilliant strike, low and hard, and this is turning into a row. What has happened to Basel? The home fans must be absolutely furious with their team's display here. They've not been at it. Taiwo gets another. It's 4-0 as we head into the half-time break. What a performance from Lens. But from Basel, completely different to that first leg where they were so good. And Gomis will hold on to the clean sheet as well. Another in Europe for Gomis, who, to be fair to him, has done well in Europe. Still likely to be shifted on in the summer, but another clean sheet, deserving tonight as well. We were much the better side. 4-0 victory, all the work done in the first half, and RC Lens will be in the hat for the semis. And the other teams joining us there will be FC Midtjylland, who you might recall Hakim Ziyech is currently playing for. A man that I sold from Chelsea to Lens and then from Lens to Midtjylland. So if he ends up scoring a winning goal to knock me out at any point in this competition, I will be furious. We've then got UD Almeria as well, who defeated Dundee by 2-1. And Borussia Mönchengladbach, the team that I am most worried about in this competition. So we comprehensively made it through with that second leg victory. Let's go and find out who it is we will face in the semi-finals. So the Conference League draw has been made. We will find out who it is we will face. I'm hoping to avoid Mönchengladbach. RC Lens will take on, of course it would be the Germans, Mönchengladbach, in the semi-final. If we're going to win the competition, we're going to have to do it the hard way. I fancy our chances if we get through them to win the whole thing. But Mönchengladbach in the semis. Interested by the Champions League draw as well. I think Leverkusen made it through. They did. It will be, oh, what a semi-final that is. El Clasico between Madrid and Barca. And an all-German affair between Leverkusen and Leipzig. I'm rooting for Leverkusen. Come on, my former team. Get the job done. I think that's actually where I'm going to end this episode. Only the 4 games today, but I feel like they were quite action-packed. We had the quarterfinals of the Conference League and also the semi-final draw, where we know we will now face Mönchengladbach. I am planning on coming back with 2 more episodes to close out the end of the season. There will be an additional 3rd if we make it to the Conference League final, where we will do a full season roundup, etc. If not, that will come at the end of the 2nd episode, where we'll close out the league campaign. We still have an outside shot of potentially winning the league. It is an outside shot, but as I've mentioned throughout this episode, we will keep fighting until the end. So next episode, we'll have the first leg of the Conference League semi-final and some big games in the league as well, including Monaco and Lyon. So make sure you tune in for that one, guys. It will be out very soon. I hope to catch you for it, and peace.